Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news and plenty going on right now. Just ahead of Champions, the M3C team former Gambit lineup may well be blowing up after dominating a large part of last season in 2021. Nats has decided the dominant force arguably on this team to leave the roster and go in search of new opportunities. What does this mean? Zelsis reckons he might be moving to the North American scene. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate everybody else at the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. As I say, lots to dive into. Firstly, this to confirm, for Act 2 coming out, there's going to be no agent or map changes. Kind of makes sense. We'd imagine probably during Champions or after Champions sometime, there's going to be some understanding of what might be next in terms of bringing the next agent in. I believe it's rumored to be like an Indian agent, an Indian male agent might be coming soon. So I guess stay tuned for that one. But yeah, map changes as well. Nothing to report there. We were kind of hoping Split might return, even though it's not going to happen. But I mean, yeah, minus Split plus Pearl has been confirmed for Champions. After Champions, maybe the pros say, look, Pearl's is terrible, bring back Split ASAP. But you know, I guess right call the shots at the end of the day, because they said that they consulted with all the pro players when they made the minus Split plus Pearl decision. But the reality is, I kind of doubt that they talked to as many as they are kind of implying that they did. Now, as we've been mentioning the last few days, what's happening with the Champions tickets and the like has been confirmed yesterday that they will go on sale tomorrow, Wednesday, August 24th at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So, you know, you can find it on the website and stuff like this. So, yeah, the tickets are going live imminently. Now, this is another thing to mention if you guys were considering attending, or if you're from Turkey yourself, because actually in the venue, the event will be shoutcasted in Turkish, which I'm not sure is necessarily a massive surprise, but it's certainly interesting because you see events in Germany, for example, like ESO1 Cologne. In the venue, of course, it'll still be, you know, the casters will be speaking English, the talent will be speaking English, because, you know, in Germany, a lot of people speak English anyway. Kind of attendees from other countries more likely to speak English. I think that's kind of like what makes sense for those kind of regions. However, in Turkey, where the percentage of people who speak English is lower, I imagine that's the case, than somewhere like Germany, then, you know, of course, I think it makes sense, especially for the local audiences, that you want to get a lot of Turkish locals to attend, like to actually shoutcast the event in Turkish. I'll kind of also be hoping that there would be some sort of way to have earbuds for the guys in the venue where they could potentially have another, like, you know, maybe an English cast that they could get through like an earbud or something like that, because this obviously might discourage some, you know, English speakers from other countries to attend, but I'm sure the atmosphere will still be great in there. And I think even Bo was mentioning that last time he tried to do something similar with the earbuds, the English kind of, you know, was like 2 minutes delayed or something right from in the venue, so not ideal, but definitely cool for the local Turkish audience as well. So I think in terms of certain countries, I think this can make sense, but of course, I suppose from home we'll have English, you know, variations and the like to watch also. This from DDK, of course, the general manager for 100 Thieves, who are going to Champions. Now, of course, lots of experienced DDK in the Counter-Strike worlds, and this is the thing, when there's a Counter-Strike major going on, the major tournament for Counter-Strike lasts for so long, there are so many matches, and you really do feel like at the end of the 3 weeks, whatever the major lasts, the best team has really come out on top. Now, in the Valorant format, there are far less matches at our Champions event than there would be in Counter-Strike, for example, right? The way Counter-Strike does it is that there's a Swiss system group stage, so you take all the 16 teams, as there are in Valorant as well, right? There's 16 teams going to Champions. They all start at 0 wins, 0 wins, 0 losses. You pair them up with each other in a seeding way, and then all the teams play each other in a best of one game, and one team advances to 1-0, one team will be 0-1, and then from the 1-0 teams, they then play each other, and then of course after that, some of those teams are 2-0, some of those teams are 1-1, and effectively it's first to 3 wins or first to 3 losses, and the decider series are played as best of 3 as opposed to best of 1s, and this is the way that Counter-Strike has done it, and I think it's been very effective at determining the best teams and also having more great matchups, right? I think that's one of the things here where in Valorant a lot of the time, especially the way the group play currently works, you don't get that many great matchups. You play like a relatively simple GSL style group format where you don't really get to see as many of the matchups as you would like to have seen, whereas in the Swiss system format, you can get all sorts of matchups possible. I think this is honestly significantly better for viewers to watch, but it is more difficult logistically to organize. Having that many matches to be played, this is Curry's kind of prediction here, but you can see these are the groups, right? There's only a few games per groups, and they will happen over 6 or 7 days. The way Counter-Strike does it is there's Counter-Strike going on all day, like it's basically like 12-hour days every day at the major, and there's 2 streams going on usually at once. There's so many matches happening all the time, whereas in Valorant there's like 2 or 3 matches per day for a few days with only 1 stream. So it's different formats, but at the end of the day, like I think that DDK probably makes a fair point that it's more entertaining, and also you get to play more matches before being eliminated, right? Which I think is also a positive, because, you know, sometimes it can be pretty tough if you play in this format and you're a team like Zeta Division, for example, here that Curry has in this group, he's got them losing to Loud and then losing to Loud again and going out of the tournament, right? In the Swiss system, that's not a possibility that a team can lose to the same team twice and go out, because theoretically Loud could be the best team at this event, Zeta could be the second best team at the event, but you wouldn't get to know that because they only lost to the same team twice. So that's just one of the criticisms of this format in general. Let's talk a little bit more then about champions and also about the potential of the rosters going into next year, because wow, things are getting rather interesting. This is the big one that last night Nats comes out with. Sometimes we've got to make tough decisions, so it would be honest to announce that I'm not an M3C player anymore. I'm deeply grateful to all my team for these years, but now it is time for changes. My email for offers offnat@gmail.com. So what about that? Like, what a team these M3C guys, Gambit guys were. Like, what they did on an international stage was incredible during 2021. But obviously, this season hasn't been so good for many teams, right? I mean, Ascended in a similar boat, failed to qualify for any of the internationals. Obviously, it's been really difficult for these guys with, issues back at home, of course, and, visas and all this type of stuff. And Gambit then saying, well, we don't really want to support you guys, or maybe the other way around, right? And they weren't able to do that anymore. Bit of a mess. And, of course, other organizations could have stepped in, but they still failed to qualify just about for champions. They nearly beat Liquid to do it. They, of course, didn't quite get over the line, and therefore they weren't at any internationals this season. But that's still regarded very highly by a load of pro players, right? I think understandably so. In the Sentinel role, he is certainly considered to be one of the very best, if not the best, in the entire world. And therefore, offers will, I'm sure, be flying through. Where will he go, though? That's a big question. I think this is a perfect move from Nats. And apparently, other players are considering a similar thing, as Bo says. While Nats is not the first M3C player who's been looking for individual offers, he is the first to announce his free agency. So kind of confirming that other players on the team, maybe Chronicle, these other guys, are also looking for offers, but haven't yet officially confirmed they are free agents and they're looking elsewhere. So these guys weren't even signed, really, like they were just playing under M3C, so they can go where they want. But yeah, this roster, it's going to be the end of this roster, right? Highly unlikely that this team stays together now unless one organization next year decides to pick up their entire roster for franchising, but in fairness, I doubt that's going to happen. So where does Nats go? And I think that honestly, this is the perfect time for him to do this because, look, he's rated incredibly highly. He's going to go elsewhere. People are going to be giving this guy offers like left, right, and center. North America, EMEA, APAC, all the type of stuff. He's going to have plenty of offers flying through his letterbox. And where will he potentially go? That is one of the key questions as it stands. Even as Elsa says, welcome to NA. So that's the thing. When Nats is available as a free agent, all of a sudden these organizations, NA organizations, for example, are now going to be knocking on the door. NA, Nats, whatever, people might start to say stuff like that. But he could potentially get out there to North America if teams want to go down that route, especially because some of these teams are far from confirmed next year. We always say this, right? Like, depending on what happens at Champions, these organizations are certainly not set. And we don't even know at this point who's even getting into franchising next season. So yeah, what is your guess of where Nats goes? Definitely an incredibly talented player. Like, I think a lot of teams will benefit from his kind of addition to the roster. Like, I'm not exactly sure what the communication situation is there with Nats. Like, how good is his English? These type of questions as well might be asked by a lot of these organizations. But look, M3C as an organization don't even exist. So they're not going to get into franchising next year. This is the time to announce your free agency so teams can start considering you, especially if their team that might be at Champions starts underperforming expectations to a certain level. Now, this is another part of the story here from OpTic, because we don't really know what's going on with OpTic right now, but something must be happening internally there. And some are wondering whether they haven't made it through to franchising, because we see a couple of tweets coming out. This one from Ye, interesting times ahead after Champs. Now, whether he's kind of saying, well, Nats is a free agent, that's going to make interesting times. Look, we know that pretty much all these rosters are probably going to change their team going into next season to some extent. But OpTic, of course, as an organization, might not get into franchising. Who knows? We kind of expected them to, and they do have more financial backing now. They were under the Envy kind of conglomerate effectively. After the merger went down, OpTic's kind of the face, Envy's the back ends. But still, maybe they got rejected, right? It's a possibility. Ye's tweet is very interesting because he's like, yeah, after Champs, there's going to be interesting times ahead. So whether that means the team's going to blow up for various reasons, or whether that means OpTic have been denied for franchising, that's a question you guys might try and answer in the comments below. Chet does go with the smiley face, but soon after that one, he does what many other places, and also says this: hard work doesn't always pay off, especially in this industry. So also possibly related to this discussion. So that'd be a big one. If OpTic don't make franchising, wow, that's a pretty big deal. Now, I kind of doubt that's the case, but of course, these are relatively cryptic tweets that are difficult to read into. And we also believed, I think, that Riot weren't going to tell teams they'd been denied until during after Champions, probably early September time. So I'd be surprised if everything's completely clear now, at least for some of these teams, but maybe they've just heard the news that they're not getting in, and therefore before these tweets have come out. Maybe not, of course. Maybe something completely unrelated. But still, I definitely think it's worth your consideration at the very least, right? And that's the thing. Sentinels, they're probably going to get in. No such tweets from them. But if OpTic don't make it, wow, that raises some serious questions, not just about that organization and why they got rejected in the first place, but also where those players go. Because, I mean, yeah, they will go to another team in franchising, but certainly not as a team of 5, you'd imagine. And of course, Nats might be looking to get involved as well. It's a bit of a mess, but very much into your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.